Professor Day, how are you, by the way?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice to see you.
Yeah, please carry on. Actually,
Yeah,
it's raining
so,
heavily here. It's raining
sorry?
heavily here, so maybe some of
Oh,
our colleagues couldn't join. Maybe they will
I see.
join later. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Okay.
We'll be happy to see you, see them
Okay.
as well. And
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, we can carry on, I think. Yeah.
I think so. Let me start. I'll start the recording, and then we can start now. So, okay. So then I start now. I will request all of you, if possible, please open your camera so we can see you. Are very familiar already, but some of you who are not familiar, we can see. And then, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, namaste, salamu alaikum. Welcome everyone, and thank you very much for joining this event. For us, it's a very auspicious day to commemorate or remember Ibn Khaldun's birthday. So this is the very special day for all of us, those who are associated with the Umran, the term Umran, and we are going to talk about what is Umran to celebrate actually the birthday of Ibn Khaldun, who first conceived this term Umran. So we are celebrating why we organize this event has some reasons. It has three main reasons and three different levels. So the first reason is that Ibn Khaldun, who contributed his work, his life to history, sociology, political studies, and different disciplines of academics. For that reason, we are celebrating his birthday. Today is 28th, but he was born on 27th of May. But one day later, we are celebrating because of a lot of prior engagement. So Ibn Khaldun contributed in different academic fields, whose notion is very much relevant to different academic fields, and he has been very much influential. And the second reason that we are celebrating this auspicious day as auspicious day because Umran Green Perspective Foundation, which inspires or which draws inspiration from Ibn Khaldun's concept Umran or al-umran. So we are going to celebrate 27th of May as a foundation day for Umran Green Perspective Foundation. The third reason, the third level that we are celebrating this day, that Ibn Khaldun was an Arab, and name of Ibn Khaldun is an Arabic name. Of course, in India, the Arabic name are very much familiar, but I, coming from a different community and family society, his name is not very much familiar. But engaging myself with Umran for 4 years, last 4 years when I came to Istanbul, has some sort of, after reading and have developed some sort of close relation with the term Ibn Khaldun. I never met Ibn Khaldun, but yet I have developed some sort of a strong feeling towards the name Ibn Khaldun. So whenever I call Ibn Khaldun, you know, a lot of feelings comes with it. So it's name Ibn Khaldun is not just a name of a person, but it has long, very much background, emotion, attachment. I think that is what Ibn Khaldun wanted to say, asabya, you know. So that is the reason people, he has been influential for many people, and those who are associating with this Umran or have been working with on Umran belongs to the Khalduni tribes. So they are Khalduni, or we can call Khalduni tribes. So this asabya, what Ibn Khaldun has said, the feeling of belonging. So I also belong, coming from a different community, a different society, a different geography. I belong to also, I developed the feeling that I associate with Ibn Khaldun, a person, a concept coming from different geography and community. So Ibn Khaldun, let me brief, he was born on 1332 in the 14th century, and on the 27th of May, and he was a Muslim, and but he was very influential, which goes beyond a religious boundary, political boundary, social boundary, or any identical boundary. So he goes beyond the boundaries actually. So he has been accepted and appreciated by many scholars, especially in our time. He has been translated in his Muqaddamah. His works has been translated in many languages. His work has been translated also in Hindi, Urdu. So, of course, in French and Spanish and other languages. And Ibn Khaldun has been also influential for the historian like Abu Fazl from the court of Mughal Empire, the Akbar. And also he has been influential and appreciated by Machiavelli, from a philosopher and a political theorist from Italy. And also he influential for philosopher and thinker like Hegel. He has been appreciated, and also he was appreciated by Austrian political economist Joseph Schumpeter. And he was also he also inspired David Hume, a Scottish historian and philosopher. He also inspired Marshall Hudson, who has been very much talked in our day, and he extended Umran at another level that he called Islamicate. The term he coined Islamicate. And there are many names, whom I never met. I mentioned, but I want to mention now names whom I met. So one of the name I would like to mention, who take the notion of Umran at another level and develops a theory which he calls multiplex theory, and he has been working. I think, let me show you. I think it's not able to show you. Okay, so it's not visual on my screen, but he calls a multiplex approach, and his name is Rajab Sen. He was the founding president of Ibn Khaldun University. So Ibn Khaldun is a name, and Ibn Khaldun was a name of a person, and Ibn Khaldun of a university where I also study, and my professor Rajab Sen Turk takes his notion at another level. And also he develops as Umran as an open civilization. So another scholars whom I met and who was my mentor and Professor Bruce B. Lawrence. He's from America. He was a professor at Duke University for 40 years. He's a distinguished professor, and he develops Umran at another level again that he calls Barzakh logic. And he explains this Barzakh logic in his recently written book that he calls Manifesto, Islamicate Cosmopolitan Spirit. The name of his book is Islamicate Cosmopolitan Spirit. So he talks about Barzakh logic that brings society in communication. So he extends his theory notion of Umran at another level. And then I being their students when I came to Istanbul and met with these scholars, and I also this Asabiya of Ibn Khaldun for this reason that I call Umran Green. So I add green in this Umran. I call Umran Green. So Umran is not just study of human civilization or human society, but also human society with the animals, environment, earth, planet. So this is what I call Umran Green or Umran Green perspective, and that's why I gave this name Umran Green Perspective Foundation to this organization. I extend this notion of Umran also to another level. I call it Umran as ishq. So Umran actually had no meaning in the very beginning, but along the way, people first the Ibn Khaldun who gave the spirit to Umran, the word Umran, and then people keep coming and giving more spirit to Umran. So Umran, when we call Umran, it's not just a word, but it's a concept, it's a feeling, it's a love. So I take Umran as another level that I call love, which is the highest level of civilization of human society or human identity, which brings communication to form a bigger asabiya. So actually the asabiya, the Umran that he termed asabiya as a Umran, he calls Umran Badabi and Umran Hadari. So Umran Badabi at village level that we see, village level and then city level. But Ibn Khaldun, he was such a great scholar. He said, every asabiya, every civilization is equal. Every society has its own political, social system. So there is no superiority or inferiority. All civilizations are equal. So, Umran Badabi and Umran Hadari, I drew the inspiration from Professor Bruce. He says, Ishq Majaji and Ishq Hakiki. So that's why I call Umran is Ishq. So Umran Badabi, which is Ishq Majaji, which encompasses the political advancement, social advancement, ethical advancement, morality, governance, and all this encompasses and to reach the ultimate civilization, that is the highest level of civilization, that is Ishq Hakiki. So I understood in that way that the whole asabiya or civilization has the same aim to reach the ishq, the highest level, love. So that brings all civilization to communication, and how this can be achieved and communicate to understand this ishq majaji, to develop this whole the levels, So and Professor Recep Şentürk, he calls Najar Shari, Najar Akli. So the spiritual level, and then also with the material level of Najar or reasoning. So this is the reason actually that brings all of us today, even what we have gathered here today, and in future it's going to be more people joining the seminar and bringing people together to discuss Ibn Khaldun and his notion or concept Umran in communication. So we have designed our program for today's program in 10 session. So first of all, Professor Vadin, I was hoping that Professor Vadin will be joining. He has a preoccupied schedule. Hopefully, maybe he will be joining later. This first, I wanted to invite Professor Vadin, but maybe he will join later. So we will have now Khaldun, is a PhD student. He will be actually defending his PhD, and he's from the Ibn Khaldun University. I wish also, we all wish him all the very best for his defense on 8th of June. So he's going to talk about Ibn Khaldun, his life, and his concept of Umran and Asabiya. And then we have Miriam from America, United States. She's also a student at Ibn Khaldun University at the Department of Alliance of Civilization, and she's going to talk about the impact and importance of solidarity and Umran Green. And then we have Taiba. She's Taiba and Khaldun, where he is. Khaldun is from Egypt, but he also has some link with India, and he has been in India as well. So Khaldun and Taiba both are the founding president of sharing president of Unity Within Diversity, with whom we have collaborated this program today. And she's going to talk about the Unity Within Diversity. And then I will be giving a brief about the projects of Umran, how we are implementing the notion of Umran and extending the idea of Umran. And then it will be followed by our members of Umran. Mateso, he is from Burundi, Africa, and he's going to talk about the Umran Academic Research Association. He's doing his PhD at Sakarya University, and he is also author. He has published 2 books. And then we will have Dr. Amina Hussain. Dr. Amina Hussain is assistant professor at Muhyiddin Chishti Khwaja University in India, and she is also working with Umran Academic Research Association at the project of Umran Women's Magazine. So she's going to talk about the Umran Women's Magazine. And then we will open the floor for everyone who can ask, or you can learn, and then we can communicate with them. And then we will be having our closing. So without further ado, we would like to invite Haldun to speak about Ibn Khaldun and his notion Umran and SLY. So floor is yours, Haldun.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. And thank you everyone for joining us on this special day. Welcome to our event. And let me reintroduce myself again. My name is Haldun. I'm a PhD student, inshallah, defending in 2 weeks, inshallah, so I'll become a doctor. So please remember me in your prayers. And I'm also the co-president of Unity Within Diversity, which is the organization that is co-organizing this event with Omran. And our co-president Taiba will be speaking about the organization, inshallah, later on. So civilization is one of the most popular concepts in social sciences, yet it needs critical assessment as it is an imperial concept and a colonial ideology, and furthermore, it suffers many conceptual problems. The concept of Omran can be a very viable alternative to the concept of civilization. And this concept of Omran was first developed by the great Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun lived 74 years between 1332 and 1406. He was a Muslim Arab sociologist, philosopher, Islamic scholar, judge, statesman, economist, and historian. He was a genius who has been described as the precursor founder of many disciplines like historiography, sociology, and economics. Ibn Khaldun's genius was acknowledged and celebrated by modern philosophers, thinkers, and researchers, such as Machiavelli and Hegel. Also, Arnold Toynbee, the British historian, admired and highly revered Ibn Khaldun to the extent of describing his work as a philosophy of history, which is undoubtedly the greatest work of its kind that has ever yet been created by any mind in any time or place. So, in his major work, the Muqaddimah or Prolegomena, Ibn Khaldun's main contribution was the introduction of the new concept of al-umran, which means the human society in its totality. Ibn Khaldun described the objective of his work as to present a new science, which is the science of Umran or ilm al-umran. So Ibn Khaldun presented a whole theory of rise and fall of dynasties, states, and communities. Umran is actually based on power, change, and conflict. Ibn Khaldun adhered to the belief that human existence is one, yet it has different interconnected and interdependent modes or patterns. This entirety of the human condition is what Ibn Khaldun calls al-umran. For Ibn Khaldun, being civil is natural and necessary, and it is attained by any mode of human existence by definition. Thus, being civil is not a strive or a goal to be reached, unlike the modern concept of civilization. Al-umran is simply an interplay of geography, religion, and group feelings that bonds humans together. Ibn Khaldun called that group feeling al-asabiyya. So al-asabiyya basically means the feeling of solidarity that bonds people together. Human bond together, forming a power that challenges the limitations of geography. So the human, through connecting with an asabiyya that is larger than him or herself, they can actually challenge the natural forces. There are four aspects of Ibn Khaldun's concept of al-umran that are very important to highlight. First, its richness and complexity, as it encompasses all the essential manifestations or patterns and conditions of the human society. Second, its realistic aspect, as its very heart of the concept of al-umran lies the phenomenon of power, because all of the conditions and manifestations and patterns of al-umran are undoubtedly a practice of power in essence. Third, its dynamism, meaning its ability to explain transformations, grasp its reasons, and comprehend the rationale of change. And fourth, its moral core, as it involves a principal goal concerning the responsibility to save the world, تعمير العالم وحفظ العمران. Analytically speaking, studying al-umran means discerning all the essential attributes of the human society. Such a study includes, first, the historical conditions like the past, the present, the future. Second, the political dynamics like al-asabiyya, power and hegemony. Third, the economic conditions like livelihood, sciences and vocations. And finally, social conditions like rise and decline. Thus, the concept of al-umran enables us to synthesize the various aspects of the human phenomena and its unfolding in history. Second, the concept of al-umran is a very realistic concept. Ibn Khaldun was focusing on power manifestations. For the modus operandi and modus vivendi of al-umran, the human society, is conflict and practice of social power. التغلب والقهر. By social power, Ibn Khaldun meant the power to organize human life. إنما الملك على الحقيقة لمن لا يكون فوق يده يد قاهرة. So to be powerful is to have the upper hand and the final decision. Ibn Khaldun maintained that all the various attributes of the human society that are related to al-umran are undoubtedly a practice and the manifestation of power in reality. Hence, our study of all the attributes of the human society would have a clear-cut orientation, guiding us to reach higher level of insights and wisdom. Third, the concept of al-umran is very dynamic. It is designed to examine transformation and comprehend the rationale of change. Based on a comprehensive study of his time, Ibn Khaldun concluded that al-umran has two poles, the sedentary and the Bedouin, and the interaction or the tension between the two is what actually fuels the macro dynamism of change. Change, on the other hand, is cyclical and ongoing because every human group passes through three phases, mainly the pastoralist, the invasive, and then the sedentary. Ibn Khaldun called the third sedentary phase hadara, which is very mistakenly translated as civilization. Ibn Khaldun's negative view towards urbanism as a stage in the cycle of human modes of existence is based on his understanding that the rise of cities leads to the corrosion of social order and the breakdown of the group feeling, which is asabiyya, which eventually results in the demise of the state. And fourth, the concept of al-umran entails a moral responsibility which maintains the balance of the human existence, تعمير العالم وحفظ العمران, and teleologically al-umran is the movement from the state of nature to civility, from what Ibn Khaldun calls at-tawahhush to at-ta'annus, in Ibn Khaldun's words. Thus, al-umran is basically an unfolding process. From this perspective, the modern concept of civilization partly intersects with the Khaldunian concept of al-umran in its realistic meaning, but not in its teleological meaning, which is the responsibility to transform the human condition from the state wherein humans being living apart from each other, which is tawahhush, to establishing society and managing differences and diversity, which is ta'annus. So finally, let me reflect on three aspects of the concept of al-umran that is related to the idea of unity within diversity, or the philosophy of unity within diversity. The concept of al-umran did not allocate any moral superiority to any form of the human existence, the pastoralist versus the urban, but rather viewed them as interconnected and interwoven phenomena. So first, the concept of al-umran acknowledges all forms of the human society, all the diversity of the human society. And second, al-umran has this teleological meaning and this teleological mission of transforming from being savage and disunited into being human and united. And third, the concept of al-umran asserts and emphasizes the unity of world history as one unit. This is quickly the concept of al-umran and its implications on the idea of unity within diversity. And looking forward to your questions, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Khaldun. You are another Khaldun. I mean, we have many Khalduns here, future Khalduns. Yeah, indeed. So Umran, as Khaldun said, it's very dynamic. It's unfolding, and we are taking it every time at improving and the stilos. Like in my understanding, we are going to reach the the ishq hakiki, we call, which is both gaib and al-mawjud and al-gaib, which is here and not here as well. So that is the aim of every asabiyya that it has, and it is of course, I mean, the every term has its own Begriffsgeschichte or the conceptual history. The civilization in itself has been actually misused, and it's not better to use civilization to replace Umran, because when we call Umran is more, it's coming with a feeling of belonging, and there is a always dynamic unfolding and reaching to some goal. It has some goal also. So now we would like to hear from Taiba, who will be speaking about unity within diversity. She's another founding member of Unity Within Diversity, and she has been implementing since she came to Ibn Khaldun University and learning about Ibn Khaldun and the notion of Umran. She has been very much influenced with the term, and she's going to talk about her organization. So Taiba, please, floor is yours. Taiba is, let me say, Taiba is doing also, she's a master student at Ibn Khaldun University at the Department of Civilization Studies. We welcome you, Taiba, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hello, bonjour, good afternoon, everybody. We can use any language we can. Thank you so much for this introduction. I'll be talking about unity within diversity, inshallah, but I'll first present myself. So, as Ajit says, my name is Taiba. I was born and grew up in France. I graduated from London, and I am now doing my master in Ibn Khaldun University. Unity within diversity can be traced back to actually the Constitution of Medina. And it seems that even if it was made by the Prophet in the 7th century, it seems that Ibn Khaldun was inspired by this constitution, because he engaged with this concept of uniting different people from different tribes, from different languages, and his book, the Muqaddimah, really explains this civilization studies and this civilization. We actually call him the father of civilization or sociology. So it is in alignment with one of the ayat in the Quran that says, "O humanity, indeed we created you from a male and a female and made you into people and tribes so that you may get to know each other." So this is kind of a very important ayat in the Quran, where God, in terms of like creation and the creator, the relation between the two are very much promoted, and the unity is really shown throughout this ayat and throughout the Quran also. There is another ayat that says, however does righteousness, whether male or female, while he's a believer, we will surely cause him to have a good life, a hayat al-tayyibah. So this whole concept of doing righteousness, and inshallah Sister Miriam will talk about it later on. But to create this asabiya through doing good and righteous deeds, it's something that world will be inspired by it. Unity within diversity takes this concept to another level. So we are an organization that is across borders. So we have around 50 members, 20 active members across borders, which are in France, in England, in Egypt, in Pakistan, in Dubai, which is in France, which is in Istanbul, sorry. We've been recruiting people from Ibn Khaldun University because we have this concept of asabiyat and promoting this diversity. So what does actually diversity mean? This is another concept, and it can have a whole seminar about it. But what we're trying to do is to englobe and encompass the diversity of languages, the diversity of culture, the diversity of religions, and within the religion there is also branches and sects, and specifically in the Muslim world, which is divided in more than 70 branches, which is in alignment with another hadith. So what we are trying to achieve here is to promote this understanding, to fight against xenophobia and Islamophobia, whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim. We are starting with the Muslim world. We may, inshallah, in the future encompass the diversity of creation to which Ibn Khaldun was actually mentioning in the Umran, and the feeling of hasabiya between people, this solidarity. And this goes to what we are trying to achieve here. We are doing by different tools and by different means, we are trying to achieve in a micro perspective, in a physical body embodiment of this asabiya. So what do we do actually? We create content, we create articles, we do researches that is around this vision, around this mission, that is to unite within the differences. So we are now engaging with the academic world, and we hope, inshallah, in the future that with Omran we can have more collaboration, and we're very happy to be today celebrating Ibn Khaldun's anniversary along with our own initiative, and we hope, inshallah, that this becomes a regular tradition among our both NGOs, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Taiva. And inshallah, we'll be having more collaboration, not only with the organization, but also people who are engaged with that, with Umran, and also people who will learn about Umran, because Umran is something a long process. Even Ibn Khaldun, he himself is very dynamic. He travels throughout the world. He travel here and there, and then learn society, and then he has empirical knowledge as well. So he's not coming up with something, but he's he's a very meditative personality. Like he meditates on this, and then his writing is also very dynamic. He changes and then come up with the final version of Muqaddimah, which became the masterpiece. So this notion of Umran, actually, we can see also long back in the Indian philosophy, what we call Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. Okay, so this this meditation, the experience that they achieved in the knowledge, or what Ibn Tufayl said, one can achieve the al-ihsan, the perfection, al-ihsan, through their experience with the nature. Okay, and also the science, the revelations and everything are scientific, or it is not coming just like this, but also it has even experience with the revelation. So this notion of Umran, it's a very dynamic and moving, always unfolding, and we are trying to expand to establish a better society, to develop the feeling of belonging, or what we call the whole world is one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or Umran in itself. This is very important. One more thing, that Professor Bruce Lawrence, he takes Umran at another level that he calls Barzakh logic. The Barzakh is the thin land. He takes the word Barzakh and he notices this Barzakh in Quran, which appears in Quran in 3 places, and he develops as a theory, which is as a civilizational force or life force, which is the thin line between between 2 spaces or 2 identity. Like, for example, what you call diversity, that is diversity. How to maintain this diversity, to recognize this thin line. So he says Barzakh as both as a bridge and barrier. So what is Umran Bedawi and Hadari? That we need to recognize the thin line that separates them, or it is a barrier also, but at the same time bridge that brings in communication. Okay, so this is very important, what I have understood, and we are taking and developing Umran to implement in sociology, philosophy, and social science and political studies, and other disciplines of academic, and also to implement in society. Not only implementing society at administrative level, but also to develop this feeling, because at a spiritual level. So Umran has been doing, and this whole idea, Umran Green Perspective Foundation is not just a foundation as an organization or just a non-profit organization or charity work, but it is based on this whole long notion of Umran, or what we call Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's based on that notion, and we are implementing the other level of extension version of Umran, that is what we call Barzakh logic. Umran has been working on various projects that has been inspired by the extension version of Umran, what is of Barzakh logic, and we have established a library in Bihar, where children are getting benefiting from this library. And then we have a language program, online language program, where students from all over the world come and learn and also teach language, and establish this asabiya of feeling of belonging. So we are executing or implementing this notion of Umran with our various projects. And then we have Academic Research Association, Umran Academic Research Association, which is taking it at another level as a very academic level or high level. So from junior to the high level. And then we have recently, we have Umran Women's Magazine. We have established a new project, which is led or supervised by Professor Miriam Cook. Professor Miriam Cook, I see Professor Miriam Cook have recently joined. So Professor Miriam Cook is from Duke University, and she is our advisor for Umran Women's Magazine. We have also for Umran Academic Research Association, Umran Green Perspective Foundation, supervisor from India, Professor Mosmiji Banerjee, and from Turkey, Professor Vahdettin Sheikh and Professor Hebarov, who is from both Egypt and from Turkey. And we have Professor Miriam Cook and Professor Bruce Lawrence from Duke University, and also a visiting professor at Ibn Khaldun University. So I will be, we are working at a very extensive way, and to establish this bridge, and also to understand, recognize the barrier also, like, that will keep the diversity, that keep the uniqueness in itself, and not to dilute one identity to other, but to communicate. So I will invite now Mateso, who will be speaking about Umran Academic Research Association. Mateso is from Burundi, and he's doing his PhD from Sakarya University. Mateso, welcome you. Floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Recep. Thank you for your introduction. Yes, as you said, my name is Mateso Bashingwa. I'm one of member of Umran Academic Foundation. As Recep said, I'm a student, but I'm no longer a student of Sakarya University, but I'm a student of Anadolu University in Eskişehir, where I'm doing my PhD in sociology. But I was studying in Sakarya when I was doing my master studies. Of course, thank you for your floor, and thank you also for joining and organizing this e-meeting. I want to talk about Umran Academic Research Association, which is a part of Umran Green Perspective Foundation, which has been established by Rajiv Kumar. And it does many things, and it also has contributed a lot about cultural diversity as the theme or major purpose of Umran. So Umran Academic Research Association is academic project of Umran Green Perspective Foundation, as I said, which draws inspiration from Professor Bruce Bennett Lawrence, reading and teaching on the cosmopolitan spirit, which is based on his theory, as Recep said, Barzak logic, and the green perspective of Umrans, as we said, which sustain on the sustainable approach, which has value and respect to the environment, and also to foster the global cosmopolitan spirit. As Recep said, Barzak is a Quranic term that signify divider and barrier, or barrier, which Professor Bruce theorized this term as civilizational and a cosmopolitan force. Indeed, Barzak logic, which inspired in UARA, to mean Umran Academic Research Association, it's a logical which is conceived as a crucial word, as a bridge rather than a barrier, that it brings also all cultures and people, races and religion in communication without losing their identity and originality. Therefore, we have to understand that Barzak logic is a thin line and the interspace which links two realms without allowing one or to be diluted to overshadowed by the other. We have to say that Professor Bruce has considered that as a term which has limitability as Barzak logic. So by encouraging dialogue and establishing new network of solidarity through that theme, Umran Academic Research Association has created different themes that should enable different scholars to join together and also to talk about some social researches, as it has been said. So in that way, the teaching of Professor Bruce, which is always based on Barzak logic, it's based on the conscience which carries and manifests the ancient teaching of Buddha's karuna, to mean compassion, which has a lot of meaning in this world. So based on that perspective, URA tries to collect or to combine different themes from different scholars to make that Barzak logic active. That is why we have organized different research trainings, which has been discussed different themes like culture, identity, to show that the research of social sciences are more important in defining the cultural diversities different to the different societies. And also, we have created other platforms which can give access to academic writings, where we have discussed different themes which related with social science. And also URM has organized the different seminars and the symposium, which have given access to the different point of discussion, and scholars try to give their point of views about those themes. And finally, we have created a women magazine, because the theme of women and the violence have also been discussed in the different activities that have been done in this platform, and also in the different seminars and the symposium. Finally, we have to say that the Umran Academic Research Association is an active academic project which will have huge activities which concern social sciences and other activities that young people from different cultures, different religion can join together and create something which is very strong and very significant to advance our science and our approaches around what we are learning. So that is what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matesha, for presenting about Umran Academic Research Association. Now I will, without any further ado, I will invite Dr. Amina Hussain, who is assistant professor at Mohiuddin Chishti Khwaja University in India. And she is associated with our academic project and working on Umran Women's Magazine with us. And we have other research students and members with working with this. So she will be talking about, and also she will present about in the recent workshop that we are gonna hold. So she will present about a brief presentation, introduction about that as well. So Dr. Amina, are you there? Like, could you open?
Yes, I'm very much here, but with all due respect and apologies, I think you would be able to hear me, but not see me. I have a very unstable internet connection.
Okay.
The weather here is very stormy. It's just, I think it's going to rain, thankfully. So first of all, welcome all of you. I think we're almost nearing to the closure of our program, but I still personally welcome you all. Most of us here in the gathering are the members of Umran, and today we were introduced to this other organization working for diversity, so I welcome them too. It was really delightful listening to fresh minds and a lot of work that has been done along, in collaboration with Umran. So my name is Dr. Amina Hussain. I'm an assistant professor. I just recently joined actually last year, and I'm working with Khwaja Mohiuddin Chishti Language University. Now this is a university, state university located in the most populated state of India, which is Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow. So that's where I belong to. And my association with Omran was rather an accidental, I would say, an encounter where Rajiv, who is the brainchild of Umran, actually was hosting this program on Women's International Day. And I happened to request him to launch my my book on that platform, which he thankfully did, and gave me an opportunity. Ever since then, I think, like-minded, we've been working together as much time as I can, contribute, with the progress and work of Umran. So now what I want to say today, we're here to celebrate Ibn Khaldun's birth anniversary. And I was just calculating, someone said that he was born in 1332, so 2022 is almost like 700 years now. And I was wondering that, my entire university education, and I'm not that old, how come I never heard of him? How come in all the Western philosophy, the writers, the thinkers, the intellectuals, how come he was never mentioned in my curriculum? And, it's very late that I discovered the philosophy of Ibn Khaldun. And that made me think, because as Rajiv also enlisted the contribution, we know that he's considered as the father of sociology. His work is wide and very comprehensive, and he's been considered as precursor to modern thinkers like Durkheim and Adam Smith and Karl Marx. But the fact that he's a precursor is what is something that I would like. His theories have been propounded by these, thinkers like Marx and others who emulated him, who inspired by him. But I felt that, somewhere he's not just a precursor. I think his theories, whether it was on education, whether it was cultural history, whether it was, on geography, it was, I believe that, Ibn Khaldun at certain level was presenting an alternative world, which is in contrast with the Eurocentric, perspective that we have today. So when we talk about decolonial studies, I think this is where we need to pick up. And why is it that, he remains, although people, these big thinkers are inspired, but he is not represented in the Western, intellectual annals. We see no mention. So there has been there has been historical wrongs done, under representation. So I think today when we have gathered and we are talking about, so we need to also acknowledge this, these gaps and lacunae, and then use it in our projects and the work that we are doing inspired by him. So that's where I wanted to start. And moving forward, and I'm here to actually introduce Umran's Women's Magazine. So Umran Women's Magazine is part of UARA, which has been just introduced. Matiso has very clearly outlined the objective and very clearly defined it. So there is no need for any repetition. All I want to say and probably add is that Umran's Women's Magazine, which is going to make its debut very soon, inshallah, is going to be what I say, the heart and soul of UARA, hopefully. And here what we're trying to do is, since we are, the logic of Barzakh and, is something which probably can also be transported into gender studies, and it has been already done. And what we're trying to do is, this whole idea of, diversity and, and hybridity. So Umran Women's Magazine is also going to be a platform, not just empowering women, but also celebrating that diversity in gender discourses. I believe that should be, will be the motive, and we're already working on it. There have been so many programs that UARA has been engaged, that have been very women focused and women centric. So all that will become part of the Umran's Women's Magazine. And the whole idea of, the binaries that we have been so focused on, the fixity, the static nature of identity, and especially the gendered identity. That's where the Barzakh logic comes in, that describes the, the dynamic and the evolving nature of being, and also the gender roles that we play, is something that the Umran Women's Magazine is definitely going to promote and will get into the into that Barzakh feminist methodology. What we, I suppose what the magazine is going to, we are going to have thematic issues. There will be generally, it will be quarterly, and we will work on thematic issues on gender. And also lots of articles and papers that young scholars and students, they will get a platform to get published. Also, there will be creative corners apart from the academic writings. There will be creative corner where, there will be space for more fictionalized, area where, articles can be accepted. Of course, there'll be book review section as well. And also, it will also enumerate, the workings of Umran over the period of time. So in brief, I can say that Umran Women's Magazine is going to encapsulate the spirit, that Umran holds, okay, and we're going to translate it into how we look at the struggle, the gender struggle, gendering, the dynamics of our society, and moving it forward instead of getting fixed into creating this binary division, but finding a way forward, And here I would like to talk about the third world feminism, which is also working in the decolonial perspective with which we go and trying to create a new way of looking at the world reality instead of just the black and whites, in some ways rejecting the Eurocentric, methodology of assessing, any kind of reality. So that's one way, looking at also the intersectional feminism, which also speaks of the same, coming together of the various, modes of oppression that comes together, and they work together to create a unique kind of oppression that women face, in all aspects of their lives, whether it is caste or whether it is religion. Someone was talking about Islamophobia today early, and I know that Islamophobia from a gender perspective is very different from from other perspectives. So these are the areas that Umran magazine would work on, bringing the marginalized and, the voices that have not been heard or have not been given platform to actually raise their concerns. So that's all what Umran is magazine, women's magazine is going to work on. And moving forward, Rajiv also told me to discuss the proposal that we have regarding the workshop that we plan to conduct very soon. The dates are not decided, still tentative. But the idea is basically to train young students, postgraduate students, and even research scholars and others into writing academic papers. This was Professor Miriam Cook who initiated this, and Rajiv and I have just worked and made it a proper, plan and a proposal, a workshop basically for research methodology, academic writing, and conference presentation. And this is we planned it for a week program. And every day is dedicated to, in fact, we dedicated 2 days to each research methodology and 2 days for academic writing, another 2 days for conference presentation. So a detailed plan, I believe Rajiv will share with everyone. And if we all agree, then we can go ahead with it. And I guess this would be another feather in UARA, which is the Umran's Association of, Research Association. So that's all. A lot of activities have happened. A lot are in the pipeline. They're about to happen. So I guess we can all, just congratulate ourselves and also, pull our socks and work together for future. Thank you so much. That's all I have to say, Rajiv. Thank you for including me in this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amina. And indeed, we are. There are many things in pipeline to come out, and we are working on that. And the beauty of this, that how it is trying to communicate with the different, space, a different identity, which also recognize the differences, but also brings them in communication to make the bigger identity. We will have now Miriam, who will be speaking about the solidarity and talking about the Umran Green and its implication of Umran. And then after that, we will be having the reflection. We have here Dr. Day and Professor Miriam here we have. Perhaps they will be reflecting on our sessions today. And also we will be hearing from all the audience and participants today. They can also participate and speak up in this session. So let me invite Miriam to speak about. So Miriam, let me brief. Miriam is also doing her master at Haldun University. She's from United States, and Miriam is also associated with Umran Umran Green School of one of the program, language program of Umran. So Miriam, we welcome you, please.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, no. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for all of the speakers for their wonderful and very articulate presentations of both of these great organizations. And thank you for the introduction about Ibn Khaldun, this illustrious scholar that we are proud, I'm saying Ibn Khaldun students and Omran and all of us, we're proud to take him as our namesake. So I think, to be honest, I think most of what I was going to say has already been said, but I'll just maybe add a few insights. So I think actually the Umran program as well sorry. So yeah, can you hear me? Okay, great. Okay, yeah, so actually I'm a newcomer to Umran and a newcomer to Alliance of Civilizations Institute, but I'm a grateful newcomer. So something that I find really interesting is the dynamics between both of these organizations, the Unity Within Diversity and Umran. So Unity Within Diversity is, of course, focused on, the Muslim world and Ummah and all of these things. But however, it still has the same kind of logic, the Barzakh logic of Dr. Bruce Lawrence, if I can invoke it, which is, again, which everyone has already said. I don't need to repeat the idea of overcoming these boundaries while preserving a sense of distinctiveness at the same time. However, I think it's interesting because they kind of come from different levels, and they go to the opposite level. So like the Umran Green School and the Umran Academic Research Association and the library, for example, I think it started from a physical, more practical, spatial kind of idea in which, Mr. Rajiv is building an actual school. And he's applying it within an actual localized community, and is becoming it has expanded on the level of ideas, the ideological, the imaginative, and at the same time, Unity Within Diversity is kind of on the levels of ideas and becomes concretized through its initiatives, which inshallah, we hope in the future will become many. We're still new. So I think that they complement each other actually quite nicely. So we've already talked about this idea of overcoming barriers and kind of, overcoming the secular logic of separation and isolation of different cultures and identities, and trying to bring them into conversation with each other. But another thing I think is interesting, one more thing I'll mention, is that there's this, I hesitate to use the word democratic. There's kind of this democratic notion of, or democratic kind of idea that's being brought in here with both organizations, because it's, one of the criticism we can say about a lot of the academic associations is that we stay on the level of theory, we stay on the level of ideas without actually, putting them into practice, and without making spaces for people who are not academics. So I think one thing that's amazing about both of these organizations, again, one place where they meet, is that they are, while they're still preserving this, respect and acknowledging the legitimacy of academic research and scholarship, and not totally equalizing in that way, there's still a space for everyone. Everyone has a place where they fit, where they belong, and where they can make a difference. And I think this is really important. So for Omran, for example, we have teachers, we have academics, we have students that are in different places of the world. We have people working in environmental, aspects. Like, for example, I was really impressed also with Omran about the fact that, Mr. Rajiv has expanded the idea of Umran, or society or civilization, if we want to use those words in English, they don't fit, but anyway, expanding it to also include the environments, like other types of creation. So not just not just the humans and human society, but look at all the rest of the earth and implicate it in our discussions about how we can bring about a better society, because society is all of us, and we're all we can't live without each other. So I think that's really important. And what else can I say? So yeah, I think one last thing that I can maybe bring up is this idea, a word that nobody has maybe quite said, at least not in its Arabic origin, is the word of rahma. So I think both organizations bring together this idea of rahma. Rahma in Arabic means mercy. It means compassion, but it has a much more it has a much deeper sense to it. It has a very tangible sense of softness, of nurturing, because actually it has the same root as the word for womb in Arabic. So both of these organizations, they're defying, like I mentioned before, defying this kind of cold, hard, secular logic. It doesn't matter which religion you are, but it's defying this cold, hard, secular logic of emptiness, and it's bringing this intuitive. It's kind of embracing the intuitive, embracing the merciful, the compassionate, all of these things that I find to be the key that distinguishes these organizations from others like it, which might be in the West or in if we shall say, secular society. So I love that we can all be together as Muslims, Hindus, Christians, whatever, atheists, but as long as we're keeping this logic of spirituality and transcendence, and we're not limiting ourselves to these isolating types of categories and separations. So anyway, I think that's all I can say right now. So I didn't really plan to talk about this. As I said, kind of the things I was going to mention had already been spoken of. But I'm very pleased to be a part of both of these organizations. I'm really excited to see where they're going to go. And yeah, I guess that's it. So thank you so much, and pleased to see you all.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And we are happy that young and youth who are understanding this very notion of Umran, spirit, actually the spirit, you sense that you understand, and sincerely you understand, and also implementation is very important. So it's not just at the level of idea, like having ideas, but also amal. So not just ilm, but ilm is very important, to achieve the justice. Without ilm, we cannot have justice. Without ilm, we cannot understand the truth, actually. So ilm is important, but also amal is important. So Umran is trying to visualize and also trying to realize and then visualize as well. With the material level also, Umran Green Perspective Foundation is doing, and also bringing other organizations like Unity Within Diversity and other organizations like Ibn Khaldun, and then there is another circles we will be having in future. So we will be bringing different scholars and students who are studying from different disciplines in communication to understand this very notion. So we will be having this now open session. I think first of all, I would like to our team member, one of our team member, Fusun Sarah, Fusun Abla, she's going to speak in Turkish, and then after that we will have reflection of Professor Miriam Cook and also Professor Sadalde, and then we will be having our closing session. Fusun Abla, please unmute yourself. You can speak in English or you can speak in Turkish. But Turkish, I would ask you to speak in Turkish.
I will shock you. I prefer something in English, so you will not have to translate in English. Just I searched something about Umran and Ibn Khaldun for a long time in the morning, and then I catch some about them. And I catch the asabiya is so important for two foundation. I mean, foundation or kurum. I don't know how can I explain it.
Yeah, reason.
Reason, yes. And I wrote something as a summary. Let me use my notes. Where did I write? Sorry. It is the feeling of cooperation and solidarity that brings people together and keeps them together. Ibn Khaldun calls this feeling asabiya. The feeling of belonging is the most important emotion in all communities, and this feeling ensures that the communities is long time. I hope Umran Green Perspective Academic Research Foundation will exist for a long time with this spirit. And also, I would like to thank Mariam. Mariam is new among us, but she is so excited, and his talking, her talking is so nice. Was so nice. Thank you, Mariam. And SLY, happy anniversary together. I hope. That's all, Gracias.
Thank you very much. So I would request Professor Day first would like to say something. Professor Day, are you there? Would you reflect on this? You are muted. You are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, is it okay now? Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Yes, yes, you are
okay.
audible.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy to be a part of Umran, and thank you for letting me know. And I have never been a good speaker, so whatever I will like to say, I'll try to be brief. Whatever I heard now about Ibn Khaldun and your organization, Umran, I think that great men think alike. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Sajal Dey. I teach Russian studies, including Russian language, in English and Foreign Language University, Shillong campus, the northeastern campus of Shillong, just above Bangladesh. If you come down from Shillong, you reach Bangladesh. Anyway, so that is where I am located right now, but I am basically from Calcutta and Shantiniketan. Now, you know, Shantiniketan is the place where Rabindranath Tagore built his university, founded his university, because he was not happy with the kind of teaching that was going on, okay? He went to school twice and left. He didn't like these four walls, teaching inside four walls and through these books and the lectures of teachers. He wanted his students to learn being a part of the nature, okay? That is why when he introduced the school in Shantiniketan, even today, if you come to Shantiniketan, I invite all of you to come to Shantiniketan, you will see that students are taught under the trees. Teacher will stand there and students will be sitting around him and he will teach there. And when they learn about nature, they don't learn from book, first of all. They go to a tree, they touch a flower, they see a butterfly, then their teacher tells him what it is. It is not the other way around. So he was a great man in many ways. He was a polymath. I think we should know more about him. Yeah, he was all for this civilizational cooperation. Tagore wanted the West and the East to meet with their best ideas and share and make this a better world. The key word of his Vishwabharati, I mean the name of the university in Shantiniketan, Vishwabharati, is Yatra Vishwabhavateka Niram, where the whole world meets under a single nest. He wanted all the world, all the ideas, all the good things to come and share and research and do the academics. I think around 13, 14 languages are taught in Shantiniketan, including Arabic and Persian. And in his poems, he welcomed Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, Christians, everybody, whoever came to India in different periods of history to make it their home and live together and build a modern Bharat, modern India, without superstitions, without hatred, and with love and cooperation. You know, he was even against the narrow Eurocentric concept of nation and nationalism. The concept of nation was not there with us. The concept of nation came from the European ideas, where there was a one language, one race, and one country. We don't have countries like that. Our country is a multilingual country, multi-religious country, multicultural country. So it is called the epitome of the world. He wanted to see a modern Bharat which would be built with cooperation from all these forces, without this narrowness. Of course, his idea against nationalism and for internationalism was severely criticized by the then freedom fighters, I understand, the political parties, because they failed to understand the underlying meaning of it. But yes, Tagore was Tagore, and I think we should talk more about him. And if you remember, I have already given a lecture on him a few months back, 2 months back. So maybe we will talk more about him and see where Tagore's ideas and our ideas mingle together, and we can do more research. Right now, that much only I can say. And thank you very much for letting me know about this meeting. And I'm happy to know about Ibn Khaldun, because I didn't know much about him earlier. And nice to meet beautiful, bright young faces here. And all the best to all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sajal. And as you said, like we can see where Ibn Khaldun and Rabindranath Tagore meets, and bring two spaces again in communication, and expand both the notion of Rabindranath Tagore and Ibn Khaldun at a extension level or level. So we'll be doing, and we will be organizing our program for the session. And I'm hoping that you will be presenting something about Ibn Khaldun and Rabindranath Tagore. I think thank you very much for joining, and it's our pleasure and honor to have you here with us. I think we can have Professor Miriam if she's there. I would like to reflect Professor Miriam. Professor Miriam, would you like to say something?
Hello. Like the previous speaker, we have very unsteady connection here, so I won't put on the video. So I'm very excited about the invitation to go to Shillong. Bruce Lawrence is here with me, and the two of us will fly there tomorrow. It sounds like a wonderful place and very inspirational. So I was just going to talk very briefly about the idea of the workshop. I think it's being sort of thought through and elaborated at the moment. But what Professor Lawrence and I wanted to do was to put together a project that would be, I think we could talk about it as professionalization. So how does one present oneself? So it could include research methodology, but it could also, and I think importantly, try to help young scholars, whether you've got your PhD or not, to present your work in the best possible way. So we'll be looking at the way in which we condense our ideas. So again, bring together different ideas, but not having them somehow collapse into each other. And above all, the way in which one can make a persuasive argument. So as I said, this is all being done together with under Rajiv's leadership. And we look forward to meeting all of you who are interested, who are at a stage where you have done enough research that you're ready to present. And I'm also delighted to hear that Ibn Khaldun has, the university has begun to think about supporting MA and PhD, I think primarily PhD students in presenting internationally. So look around for conferences that are suitable for you. And one thing that Professor Lawrence and I would be happy to do would be to work individually with people who are either thinking about presenting internationally, nationally, wherever your nation is. And alas, in spite of Shillong's utopian project, we are all somehow nationally based. And can do practice of what you're planning to present, throw ideas around, so that we can help you at the various stages of your professional career as academics. So here's Bruce Lawrence. Professor Lawrence will just add a few words.
Yes, thank you, Rajiv, and thank you everybody who talked today. And I especially want to do a call out to Shillong and to Rabindranath Tagore. And I had the privilege of being to Shanti-Niketan and talking there. And I didn't sit under a tree, but I sat outdoors. And I felt the glow of nature in Shanti-Niketan. And so to hear Sajal talk about it, my mind and my memory went back to all those moments. And I think the thing that I enjoyed most about it is that the teachers and students talked with each other, not at each other. So you really felt as if it were a collective gathering, and the teachers and students were learning from each other, which I think is the best indication of scholarship. So on just this one thing that Sajal also mentioned about nations and nationalism, I think that the irony is that none of us can travel without a passport, at least travel beyond borders. So you have to have a passport, but a passport doesn't need to be also a stamp of your total identity. So you can be from a country without having to be an exponent of its values or its ethnic or linguistic or social or political point of view. You accept the fact that the nation is your identity, but you don't accept the fact that it's your limit of possibility.
Yes.
So when I wrote this little manifesto, Islamic Cosmopolitan Spirit, Rajiv won't mind my quoting him back to everybody else in this gathering. He said, the thing I really like most about it is that belonging means that you have your sense of national identity, but you want to belong to the greater possibility, which is the universe, which is all humanity. So you have a belonging, a passport, as it were, that says I'm a member of India or Turkey or the United States or any other country, but I long to be a member of humanity. And that means, to quoting back what Miriam said, that you identify with nature. And we are all, whether we like it or not, in the age where the environment has become not just a part of us, but a central focus for our energies. So thinking about the environment and thinking about the fact that we are in the Anthropocene age means that we have to cross borders, not only between nations, but also between different experiences of the environment in which we all share and which we all need for our collective future. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm happy to remember Ibn Khaldun with Rabindranath Tagore on this day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Miriam and Professor Bruce. It was actually, it is a very nice day that you are here, and while we are actually we are trying to carry out your legacy, and the legacy before you had been carrying, and then you are carrying their legacy, and we are young generation. Still, we are working and learning, and we are trying our best to continue that legacy that is for humanity, not only for humanity as a human society, but also for environment and nature and animals and all, everything included. And as you mentioned, that's what we are implementing as the extension version of Umran of the 14th century, and the Umran at the extension version of Umran, which has been carried forward, or the Umran in itself, it had no meaning or in itself, but Ibn Khaldun gave him a spirit, and then later people came and then gave me a meaning and more spirit into it. And at this level, you have given another level of spirit, that is Barzakh logic, that also is recognizing, and that what I have felt, and that what I have been practicing with the Umran Green Perspective Foundation, that I come from India. I know myself. I am coming from India, not only from India, but also from Bihar, from a small town, Jaynagar. I still watch drama, and recently I found I want to share, and this is very important. I find that I one of the drama which is a local drama in my language, and I enjoy most. Even I speak Hindi, or now I speak English, but I enjoy the drama which is in my language. So I myself, I recognize more with my language. At the same time, I recognize with the at a more possible level that we call the bigger Umran or Asabiya. That is the theory that Barzakh logic, I think, is. So I would like to, anyone would like, before we end our session, anyone if want to speak something, please open your mic and can say something. Anyone would like to say, can open their mic.
Hi, Rajiv sir, good evening. My name is Sajid. I'm also from India.
Yes,
am I
yes.
here? Am I audible to you, sir?
Yeah, you are audible, yes.
Yeah, sir. Really, sir, this is my first, this is my first program, so which is I attended. So this is a very helpful for me, because I got a lot of knowledge from there. So I request you to please manage this type of organization as well as.
Thank you very much, Sajid. Thank you very much. So you can also visit our website www.umran.org.in and connect with us. You can get our email address from there and connect with us. And we will be organizing many programs. And in coming time, we are organizing. Professor Bruce and Professor Miriam will be giving academic writing who wants to publish or present something in international symposium or seminars, professionalization. So she will be giving training. So we are working on that. I think after 20th of June, we will call for the paper. So you can send your rough version of your, I mean, 3-4 pages of your research idea. And then professor will be giving you idea training on that, how you can work on that, how can you arrange your ideas and all these things to make your presentation. Thank you very much, all of you. And again, it's a day of Umran, and Umran as both as a person, celebration Umran Day for the person Ibn Khaldun, and also for the organization Umran Green Perspective Foundation. We celebrate this auspicious day and making this day a meaningful day, auspicious day. Thank you very much, Taiba and Khaldun, Unity Within Diversity, for collaboration. Our young students and volunteers, Miriam, Swasti, Fusunabla for supporting, Dr. De Matesho from Burundi, Jamil coordination of Umran Green School, Ibrahim from Ibn Khaldun, and Saadat from Umran, and Dr. Amina Hussain, and Anjali, and Insha Qayyum, and Fatma, and all the members who have joined this program and making this program a wonderful program. In future, we will be having at a very large level this day 27. So this time we celebrate at 28, but next time we'll be trying to celebrate on 27. So thank you very much, all of you, and we'll see you again. Namaste, Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. It's truly a wonderful session. Nice, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a wonderful session, and what I could gather was that Ibn Khaldun actually liberated historiography from the palace courts and introduced a society and social forces as actually the mover and shaker of the history of civilizations. Thank you so much for these illuminating sessions. Looking forward for some more wonderful programs from this organization. Thank you so much, Rajiv.
Thank you very much. We'll be making a report out of it, and it will be published on our website also. We are going to make a proper article about this, how this day was celebrated and organized. So it will be made a report on that, and it will be published as well. The session has been already recorded. So see you again for the next our program, and hopefully you will be sharing your research proposal. Very soon we will be calling for papers, rough papers. So see you again. Thank you very much again, once again, and see you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And thank you, Rajiv, for putting us all together, on these platforms that we could commemorate, Ibn Khaldun's birth anniversary. And I learned a lot. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for Fusunabla. Görüşürüz.
Ben teşekkür ederim. Görüşürüz.
Superdeep, thank you very much, Johnny.
Thank you, sir, for this interesting session, and it was a very good speech.